Hi, we're going to talk about your project planner for your Fractals project. And this is what your project planner paper looks like. It is in a slideshow that has these pages in it. First, you're going to review what a fractal is, which if you've just done your tree, you have a really good memory of what that is, how they grow in a fractal pattern. And it talks about different vocabulary words that I'm hoping you use, such as overlapping, warm colors, cool colors, a fractal, size relationships like being the same size and some are bigger and smaller, foreground, which is something that is in the front of something else, middle ground, which is in the middle, and I've got a photograph here of crayons and a soda container, like a bottle or a drink, and a tape container, and you'll be able to see closer when you look at the slideshow. But the crayons are in the foreground, the soda is in the middle ground, and the tape dispenser is in the background. The last word is medium, and that's talking about what you use to make your art. So you might use colored pencils, you might use paints or other kinds of paints, or a pencil, but that's a medium. Pastels is a medium. There's just all different kinds of mediums, and if you go into sculpture, that would be clay and it would be wire and things like that. For your fractal project choice that you're going to be making to fill this out right here, there are several choices you have to make your project. And you're planning a major project, which I expect really quality work and like your very best ability being shown. This is in your video that or not your video, your slideshow that you have on the lesson. And it says to choose your project. I'm going to show you your options. Then you're going to fill out your planner page, and then you're either going to take a photograph or a screenshot to upload that to the lesson. I'll talk more about that in a minute. You may choose either a tree project over here or a leaf project over here. They both use fractals to do them, and both of them are equally as difficult or as easy. So depending on what you really find interesting, that's how you choose which one to do. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are your leaf options. And if we talk about the leaf options here, option 1, you're going to look at doing leaves, many leaves that overlap. Overlapping means on top of each other, covering something else up. So these leaves are all drawn so they overlap. The only consideration that I want you to do that is different from this particular example is that your background is going to be either warm or cool, and your leaves are going to be the opposite. That didn't happen with this person's, but if we look over here, here's a good example. The orange and the yellow and the kind of red-orange here is warm color, and the green and dark green and light green back here are cool colors. And so one is in the foreground or your center of interest or what you're planning to make most important, your focus, and this is in the background. So if we look at all of these, this is a blue leaf here and a red background. So that's warm and cool used properly. So in your choices for your project, one part of your project is going to be warm and the other part of your project is going to be cool. And you get to decide which one is which. Here's another example. This is option 2. And you would draw leaves kind of in a line on a very narrow piece of paper, and the background would be cool and the leaves themselves would be warm, or the other way around. So those are the leaf options, and you can choose the one that you find most interesting to do, or you can do a tree option. And option number 1 of the tree almost looks like stained glass, how it's branched out along the to the edge of the paper. And so in here you would put either warm colors or cool colors, and then back in this background area you would put cool or warm colors, the opposite. This one isn't done that way, but that's the way this project would be done for you to do. Is that where the background of the tree is, that would be, say, if we decided to do this cool colors, and it would be all different kinds of cool colors, and this would be warm colors. Now, that being said, with the leaves and the trees, there is a rule that I want you to follow, and that is that no 2 colors can be next to each other on your project. So if you put this dark purple here, you can't put dark purple in any of the squares that touch it. And this person hasn't, so they did the right thing. So that gives variety and interest to your artwork. So that's why I have you do it that way. The same would be true up here. If you painted a light purple here, then anything that touches that area can't be light purple, but you can do light purple again other places. It's just that they can't touch each other. So that's option 1. Option 2 would be to do a tree, and you could do designs in the tree, but the main difference here is that you take a lid or a bowl or something, and you trace around it to make a big sun or moon in the background, and that becomes your warm or cool, and then this background back here becomes the opposite. And if you notice, there are different layers because in nature you have grass and trees and maybe a lake or something, or the night sky, and so you're going to have layers of color for your background, and those would all be either cool if you have a sun, or if you do a light blue for the moon, for instance, then you would do warmer colors out here in the back. Option 3 over here is kind of a fun tree. It has swirls on the ends of its branches, which makes it more whimsical. And you're going to do the same thing. If the tree is warm colors, then the background's all cool colors, but they can't be cool colors that are the same that touch. So a light blue, a dark blue, a light green, a dark green, medium green, purple, you mix them and it should help describe what you're trying to portray to the viewer. So number 4 is a little bit different. It's a tree, and you use a lid or something like that, and you create kind of the outside of the tree, or maybe a sun that's behind, or a moon. And then you take a ruler and you draw lines both directions, and those help you decide how to do the background. It just kind of pixelates kind of the image and makes it more interesting in that way. So these are your options, and on your project planner, what you will do is I already filled this in for you, and then it's fractal tree. Right here it says write a paragraph explaining your idea, and so you're going to say which kind of tree you're planning to do, what you're planning to do in terms of warm and cool colors and where they're going to be, and what medium you're choosing. Some of you might choose colored pencils, some of you might choose watercolor, some of you might have oil pastels or something available. But you put down what medium you're planning to use, your supply list, and I'd like that to include a pencil, because you're going to have to draw it first, and then you're going to include all the other things you might need for your project, including good paper. And one of the things that I asked you to get was quality drawing paper. So this is one of those times you'll be using that quality drawing paper, or some other surface that's even better than quality drawing paper. But do not use copy paper for this assignment. This is a project, a major project that I expect some really incredible stuff from you, like the top of your quality, and everybody's quality is different. After you have this all filled out, then you're either going to screenshot it, because I do want a little sketch over here, and it does not have to be detailed, but a little sketch you can do on another piece of paper, take a picture and insert it digitally, or you can print this off, fill it out by hand, and draw your idea here, and then take a picture of this whole paper and send it in. But that's what you do for this part of the assignment. And then wait for me to give you feedback on this. When you get this returned to you with a grade, check the feedback on the assignment before you start your project. So if I have any tips or important information you need, you have it before you begin your project. Thanks. Have a good rest of your day.